So I wanted to do a quick video for folks that are looking at bankruptcy, getting ready to file a case, and make sure that you understand what your responsibilities are as a client and what your attorney's responsibilities are as your attorney. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions about bankruptcy attorneys is that we are also tax attorneys and CPAs, accountants. Most of us are not. That's not what we do. Our job is to help you get rid of debt. Our job is not to take in 40 pages of bank statements, of financial statements, and do a professional analysis and tell you what's going on with your business. That's not my job. And I don't think you want to pay my hourly rate for me to try to make that my job, because it'll take me a lot longer to do that than it would somebody that's professionally trained to do that. So there are a lot of folks that have to end up filing bankruptcy, especially my self-employed folks, that they have to provide a profit and loss statement. They have to provide documents showing, what's going on with their business. Sometimes it's going to require that you get a CPA or an accountant. And at the end of the day, that is your responsibility. And yes, that can be an extra cost, but there's no way around that. So I like for folks to understand, when you're filing bankruptcy, sometimes it is very much a team project. So sometimes I'm talking with my client's CPA. Sometimes I'm talking with their tax attorney, because maybe there was this really messy, crazy tax issue that they were trying to resolve, but they had to file bankruptcy for another reason. Well, bankruptcy will protect them momentarily. However, until they resolve that messy tax issue, whatever the IRS or Georgia files in your case, that's what you're stuck with. And it doesn't get removed until you resolve it on the other side. So understand that, if you're not just the run-of-the-mill regular bankruptcy case, you can have some financial things that you're going to have to either sit down and do it yourself, do a profit and loss statement. I would hope if you're a business owner, you know what a profit and loss statement is. And that's a very, very basic thing. But if you don't, or you need help, then you would need to go to an accountant or a CPA to do that. Because that is not your bankruptcy attorney's responsibility. And for me, when I'm dealing with clients, you will see on my intake form, I'm going to ask you what was your gross income, what were your expenses, on each of these months, so we can, we need to know what an average is, so I can figure out what to put on your petition. But if you give me the wrong numbers, that's not my fault. That's your fault. And that's on you. So sometimes people will mistakenly think that, I've literally had people send me like 200 pieces of paper of their bank statements, credit card statements, like, whoa, I'm not your accountant. I'm not your CPA. I need you to tell me what your debt is, what your assets are. I need you to tell me what your income is. And when I say income, if you're self-employed, average it out. And because people say, well, I'm self-employed, it changes every month. I know that. Still got to have an average. So give me an average. So add up what you've brought in over 6 months, and then minus what your expenses were, and then give me that average. And yes, that might sound very, very simple, but yes, that's what I need. But at the end of the day, it's your job to provide that to your attorney. So if you're one of these folks and you've got complicated business stuff, and if you're that person, then you need to make sure, number one, that you keep paying your CPA or accountant. It's funny, sometimes that people will add them in to their bankruptcy, which they're totally able to do, but then it's like, okay, well, they're not gonna keep working with you if you don't pay them. So when you have things like professionals that you need to keep paying in order to get your documents ready for your bankruptcy case, I would advise you to keep doing that, because those people are going to be crucial to the success of your case. And again, bankruptcy attorneys, our job is to write your case, to do an analysis, to tell you what you can and cannot do, and to help you discharge the debt. It is not our responsibility to be a financial analyst and look at all of your incomes and receipts and all of that good stuff and tell you your business is going well or it's not, or this is an issue. That is a job for a CPA or an accountant. So at the end of the day, we work with a lot of different professionals. We work with family law attorneys because we have clients going through family law cases, tax attorneys, we deal with real estate attorneys, we deal with trust and estates attorneys, all kinds of attorneys. So sometimes when you're filing a bankruptcy, you can have a team of people. And I know people don't like people to tell them, well, no, that's not our responsibility, that's somebody else's, but you need to know that up front. So then you know, okay, I'm going to need to deal with my bankruptcy attorney on this. I'm going to need to deal with my CPA on this. And I'm going to need to deal maybe with my family lawyer on something else. And at the end of the day, you just also need to make sure that everybody knows about everybody else, because we have to work together as a team to make sure that your case proceeds the way it should. So if you have any questions about bankruptcy, about what responsibilities are, at least here in Georgia, I'm always happy to answer questions, and my information is listed below.